It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy post-Emmy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we are serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And if you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that way you can now see our interviews from the 51st Annual Daytime Emmy Awards. So go and check those out. Not right now. Watch our show first. And then afterwards, go check out all the interviews and make sure you share them to everybody so that way no one misses them. But also make sure you hit the subscribe button so that way you'll never miss when we're going live or when we post videos. Also, you can find us on your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So take us along while you're traveling along in the car or just sitting poolside on a hot summer day or walking children in nature. You can catch up on all things Dishin Days on your favorite podcast station. And also make sure you show some love to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr. at his digital network, JLJ Media on YouTube and where all podcasts can be found. He is serving up a couple of dishes of his own, including a recap of Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital, along with some original audio dramas, because James Lott Jr. is the only person I know that's old enough to remember when the needle was created on the record player. And that's old. Also, make sure you tell us your thoughts. If you're live and watching us, make sure you comment in our chat. If you're watching us later, just go ahead and comment below. We want to hear from you and hear your thoughts on what you thought about all the stunt shows and shenanigans in Salem. Before we kick things off, as you already can tell, our very own Michael Mattis is not here and won't be here for the summer. He is taking a small hiatus just to rest.
Recharge.
Yes.
Recharge. Relax, relate, and release.
All the R's.
So, if you tune in later, we're not going to always explain this. Just know Michael Mattis is on a summer hiatus. And if you forget, come back to this video and remember that Michael Mattis is on a summer hiatus. But we wish him well. He is currently poolside with Bimby. So enjoy your summer hiatus, Michael Mattis, while we sit here and dish all of the days. Speaking of dishing days, what do we think of this week's episodes?
Good.
I mean, there's a reason that we're here today instead of laying in bed. It's because we had to cover this week. This week was intense.
Yeah.
I think this was the start of what's about to be intense.
Yeah, that's probably better.
There were some rumblings, so look at that. Already great interview with Eric, Justin. Thank you. Look at that. Someone has already watched an interview. Look at that.
Nice.
Our fans are quick.
Yeah.
QUICK quick.
I'm sure Wendy had her notification on, so she was notified when you posted that, Tony.
And that's how you stay in the loop.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this week's episodes were, again, gearing up for what's to come. Definitely some things are moving along. So I think we can tell that the writer's strike has ended. The writers are back. They have reviewed the tapes and they said, so.
Yes, there were some very clear cut. No, thank you. We're not going to continue this. Or this definitely was not mine, so it will go immediately. No explanation, really, but okay.
Or maybe we got the choir director stance of we gonna wrap this up.
Right.
Can you imagine like being in the room and like there's like the wall of what's happening now, and they go,
Yep, big X. Yep.
wrap it up, wrap it
We're not
up.
going to continue this. I do.
Right.
I will say it was the one. This week was a one time. Very few times do we genuinely get surprised by something, and I think shout out to the promo department because there were 2 revelations this week, and they released one of them and kept one secret. So I thought that was a nice way of doing it, so that one of them was a genuine surprise, and the other we sort of knew was coming. So yeah. Shout out to Jill. Yeah.
Shout out to Jill. All right. Well, let's thick it, break it on down, y'all. You know what I didn't do?
What?
First of all, let me tell you, I feel like I'm team too much today. Because but all right, there we go. We're good now. All right.
Oh yeah, I did them. Don't worry. Yeah.
Oh, I was actually checking my mic because I realized I don't think my sound is going through my microphone. It's going through my computer, but I don't think there's a difference. Whatever. All right. It is now time to start.
Dishin
Days. Well, there's always one. Let me flip it. I don't know why we flip this because we definitely always go over an hour.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Let's kick things off with our first storyline with Melinda playing all sides.
Yes.
I mean, we love Melinda Trask for this reason. She was calling out everybody this week.
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting way to like meld those 2 storylines with her, just because they kind of sort of bled into each other this week.
Yeah. Listen, Cherie, I'm always ready. There's just always a hold on kind of a moment. This story gets very interesting because again, we see how things are being played as far as putting Nicole and Eric, back together. I told y'all Nicole had something to do with Jude's name. And this week, Eric said the reason why he named him Jude had to do with Nicole.
No, but that's new information.
Yeah.
We didn't know that at the time.
But I don't know. As I said that last week. I said she had something to do with that name. And
I also felt like that was a rewrite, but
not that she named him, but it was through a conversation that they had when he was how he came up with Jude. She had something to do with it. Okay. Not directly, but maybe indirectly. Okay. Somebody pull up that conversation. I know it has something to do with it.
Because I was like, no way would Sloan ever go for that. Or God forbid Eric ever even was dumb enough to even suggest that to her. So yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know. I thought it was a rewrite. I was like, really? Do we need is this? I'm guessing this is the way, of course, for her to keep the name, because remember they were going to change the name. So I was like, okay, this is the in to keep his name because he's their kid, and it doesn't make sense to change his name to something else and then to rechange it back. So I guess it works, but it's honestly, it makes him look worse, to be honest. You're naming, it makes Eric look horrible. You are having a baby with another woman. This is your adopted son, and you're naming the baby a connection with your ex-wife. Like, really, Eric?
But ain't nobody gonna see that. All Eric fans and all Nicole fans, and what are they called? The Urquholes?
Urquholes. Yeah, look, let's state this right now. We love Eric. We love Nicole.
Yeah.
We do not love Eric and Nicole on this show.
And furthermore, for the record, it's just because the ship has sailed.
Yeah,
Like,
I wouldn't say we.
that's what it is. Like we liked them together,
Yeah.
as in
Yes.
past tense.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when Africa happened, when the affair with
Xander.
with Xander happened, the
That's
way
why
he
you said
left
Paul.
her,
Yeah.
like after that, it was just like, you know what, we're good.
Yeah.
Like we're okay, and we liked the path that was happening. But because y'all keep being like, I'm a cancel Peacock if y'all don't do this, I'm not gonna watch no more if y'all gonna do the oh, side note, for those people who y'all, and spread this rumor around, for those people who have said, oh my gosh, I can't watch Days because Peacock is too expensive, it's
Lord.
$4.99 a month, and well, just so you know, and so your grandbabies will know, go, if you are brand new to Peacock right now, they are having a deal where you get Peacock for $19.99 for the year.
Ooh.
So for the whole year, you only have to pay $19.99 if you are brand new.
Mhm.
So tell your friends who still ain't got Peacock, they can sign up now. They can use the code Stream the Deal, all caps, Stream the Deal, to get Peacock for $19.99 for the year. Now, after that, regular charges apply. But maybe within that year, you can get caught up and maybe decide, you know what, I can swing it. All right. So that's just that plug for that.
Yes, and thank you to Debbie, who's saying that it's actually Peacock is actually included if you have Xfinity, and if you have Comcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Be on the lookout for that too, because a lot of the streaming services are now bundling
Yeah.
with each
Yes.
other. So, like, if you have one, you can get a bundle with all the other ones. So that could also be cost effective. So look out for that.
Yes.
Anyway,
And
back to this mess.
yeah, and no, just one more note additionally that if you price check, guys, Peacock is probably one of the least expensive streaming services.
It is. I think
think
it's
it-
like $5.99 now.
Yes.
With ads, and then maybe $7.99 without.
Yeah. Do you know how much they're charging for Max and Netflix now?
$12.99.
Yeah.
I should know because I'm paying for Max because I don't have a friend who has a cold.
And again, it's the whole streaming service. It's not just Days. You also get Hallmark. You get Universal is like, so it's worth it. It's definitely worth
a lot of these people are bundling now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, back today. Sorry, y'all. That was just a side note. Tell your friends. But back to the storyline.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that EJ decided to help Sloan escape with the whole like, oh, I got hit with a flower pot and she ran that way.
I figured that was,
I was like, all right. Meanwhile, in the house, Eric and Nicole are like,
it was definitely some quick. I thought it was going to be like a knee to the groin was going to be like the thing, but I'll take the flower pot to the head. Just as effective, I guess.
I mean, possible. She is tall.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they figure it's possible.
Yeah. But listen, EJ needed to cover himself, so yeah, he could not have Sloan sort of feeling guilty or getting a conscience at that point.
Yeah. But the conversation with between EJ and Melinda, Melinda's had some really great scenes over the years, but I feel like that was one of Tina Wang's most standout performances, because it was one of those where the repartee was just going back and forth, and you could tell they were both on their game. Yeah, that's high caliber when you're just like, it felt like everything flowed very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not to say that it was a pleasant conversation, but it was just like this is how this goes. This is what great acting is.
I'm still a little weirded out by the fact that they didn't have her come up with like a reasonable excuse, because it seems like even though like she had the conversation with EJ, they're on the same page, which is great. She's sort of doing this kind of pseudo blackmail thing with Rafe, which seems like it could work or not work. And I'm like, could you have just made up an excuse and like it would have kind of covered all this? Like, I don't know, it seems strange that they had her go in this direction of being caught off guard. Like, there's no way, to me, as smart as we know Belinda to be, she wouldn't have made up some excuse as to her part in the kidnap, or at least pretending like she didn't know that part. And she could have came up with anything. She could have said Sloan hired 2 actors to meet me at the park and they handed up the baby. She could have named anything.
Okay, Jesse Smollett.
What?
Okay, Jesse Smollett.
I'm like, and then Sloan's not here to corroborate that. So honestly, you could have made up anything. You could have said she picked up the baby and she handed it off to me, and she wanted Eric, to think she could have came up with something. She sort of caved there with Rafe, I felt like.
I mean, it worked.
Well,
kinda. He's not fully, I don't know. He's like plotting against her now, which is not a good thing.
Is he? Because now she dangled you want your sister out of jail?
But he said, remember him and Stefan? It was like, okay, she has this. Yeah. We're either going to get it from her or we're going to use her and then we're going to get her, was basically the conversation. So he's still out. I feel like he's still out for blood with her. That only angered him.
I mean, I don't mind it, and I say that only because it's created some interesting dynamics where now EJ and Melinda kind of have made this devil's bargain with each other, and now Stefan and Rafe are going to be working together. So it's created some interesting dynamics in spite of the awkwardness of the storytelling, and I think we can just kind of chalk that up to there are some things that can't be rewritten, so we're just going to have to kind of go with it.
Yeah.
Well, blessed be that little Jude is back with Nicole.
Yeah.
That we had.
I felt bad. I felt bad for Leo when Roman was just like, I refuse to serve you. And I'm like,
oh, really? Oh.
I'm like, Roman.
I thought it was okay.
That was his right.
What?
That's his right.
Sure. But like, he did the same thing with Ava. And then the next week was like, oh, you can have the room. Like, if you can live with Ava.
I mean, yeah.
You can serve Leo a bowl of chowder.
Well, maybe he can serve Leo in like a month, like it's still pretty fresh and he's just finding out this guy sort of perpetrated this lie that he was sort of not involved with, but connected to. I mean, this is, well, technically it still is his grandchild, which is the rub, but.
But Leo doesn't know that that's actually Eric's baby.
No.
Because he had that moment of.
No, he doesn't.
Like, why did you pay me all that to try to hold to your, and EJ like talked his way out of it. But, for the most part, like, Leo did have compassion for the whole situation until it benefited him.
Yeah. I think that's what Roman's mad about. He's like, you basically put this child's paternity, like, you basically sold his paternity, essentially.
Roman, if you can forgive your daughter, Sammy.
Well, Leo's not his child. He don't care about Leo.
But look, family or no family, you can cut people off. You ain't ever looked at Sammy and said, no child off for you. And all the ruckus that she's caused within that family.
I mean, that's family. There's family and then there's your kid. It's just, yeah.
Well, guess what, Sammy? You can't get no chowder either.
Because she's not there.
Well, that too.
I always did wonder, though, how Sammy would react to this storyline. I feel like it was a missed opportunity. And I know that Allison Sweeney has moved on, and she's busy, but I know that she'd be willing to come back for certain things. And I do feel like it would have been a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity to not have her like come in for this just for a little bit, because her brother having a baby with the woman she despises more than anyone in the world. Come on.
This is why I miss the idea of Beyond Salem, because there's just so many things that you can do with these characters that are like off the canvas, or that they can say, okay, yes, I can come in for like a week in film and wrap this up and like totally fine, rather than like, oh, you want to put me on contract for 6 months to a year?
No, it's like no, though people don't need to be necessarily involved in the storyline, but it would be just fun to see their reactions.
Yeah, agreed.
Sammy would have been a good one. There's like she doesn't want her brother hurt, but she also would probably rejoice in the fact that he doesn't have a kid with Nicole, or so she thought. But she'd also take like glee or like karma in Nicole having a baby stolen from her. Like, yeah, there's a lot of dynamics that could have played there.
Because can you imagine if once, okay, let's say this, picture it, Salem, 2024. Eric tells Sammy about the whole situation with Jude. And after talking with Sammy, a conversation about like taking the baby back, blah, 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 he decides to take the baby back. And then can you imagine Sammy like walking into the Demira mansion going, well, how does it feel, Nicole?
I could actually envision Sammy saying to Eric, I'll bring the baby back for you. And that being like a thing. Like her, imagine them opening the door and her being the one to bring their baby back.
But then picture this. Demira Mansion, 2024. They have a spat, and then Sloan walks in. Can you imagine if Nicole and Sammy both turned around and saw Sloan?
Oh, that would be.
I would have been like,
yes, because I could see Sammy Sloan.
She would have got a double wrath.
Oh
yeah,
no,
but
I would
wait. Sammy
would help Sloan. I think she would be mad at Sloan for hurting Eric, but I think she would take glee in Sloan doing to her what Nicole did to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I could see her even being one of those things where she doesn't like, she's not fond of Sloan, but she's also like, you know what, I might actually help you escape, or I could see Sammy giving her a hand there, actually.
Not punching her in the boob. People seem to like that. Sloan, you in danger, girl. Let's see. I think she would be more mad at Sloan hurting Eric. That's what Shariar said. Yeah, I would think so. Well, I would want front row seats to that.
But I mean, let's be honest. There have been times when Sammy has had the choice between hurting Nicole and protecting her brother. Which one has she chosen?
Hurting Nicole. Yeah, she does. Yeah. I think she's willing to sacrifice Eric if it hurts Nicole, but also if it gets him away from Nicole, she's fine with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh well, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
In any case, Sloan seems to be out of the picture now. Melinda and EJ seem to have a understanding.
So what do we? I don't know. I don't know if we got necessarily clarification that she's gone for good. Do we?
Sloan?
Yeah. Like, do we? Are we? I mean, do we like the fact that she's gone for good, or I don't know. I kind of like her on the canvas. I hope she's not gone for good.
Well, the thing is that there has to be a way for Eric to find out that Jude is really his, and without Sloan, it really only leaves possibly two options. The first would be is if somebody finds those DNA results are in the Demira safe in in the mansion, or if Leo, by some miracle, figures it out.
He's already suspicious.
He's
Yeah.
suspicious. And if by some miracle he figures it out and decides to grow a conscience, that would be the only other way.
Leo needs to take his money, and he's officially out of it at this point. He just needs to keep his money and stay out of it. Like, you're just asking for trouble if you're now involving yourself. Like, before you were kind of brought into it against your will, but now EJ's paid you. As far as you know, everyone is getting what they want. You know, you're a little bit suspicious, but you also don't know the truth yet. So it's like, just mind your business, keep your money, live a good life, and stay away from this baby.
All right. Well, that's it with that storyline, and we're gonna keep going to one revelation we had, which is Constantine killed.
Now, who of us actually thought that that was actually the real revelation?
Wait, what?
Like, that was a surprise?
Suspected all along that Constantine had killed Victor.
I never suspected it.
Yeah, I didn't even.
But I was surprised that he said that. No.
Oh.
I didn't. No.
The plane fell out of the sky.
I didn't. Honestly, once Victor died, because John Aniston died, I didn't think anything. I didn't think there was a mystery involved, or like something involved.
It's honestly, a plane crash.
Right. But I honestly thought that they had to figure out a way to get rid of Victor. And so they just said plane crash. And I figured something would happen with that. But once it was just like, all right, there's a plane crash, and no one really talked about it again. I didn't think about it again. I didn't think Constantine did something to sabotage the plane. I mean, it's not like he's quick. Like, what could he have done to the plane to where nobody would have known?
Well, we'll find out.
Was he on an electric scooter and like ran up to the thing and was like, and then?
Well, it's also presumably it was a private plane, so
yes,
probably not as much security.
I mean, it was a revelation, but it wasn't like amazingly shocking. Like, it was like, oh, okay, surprised there, but not out of the realm of possibility. But I didn't think of it since the Victor storyline, like they were going to swing back to this and reveal something.
Yeah.
So that was,
and it was interesting. You know what? The twist that caught me a little off guard was that Maggie brought Justin in on the plan. Because that wasn't explained to us. And it wasn't until they were at the altar and Justin got that alert, and I was like, oh, he's in on it.
See, I wasn't sure on that. I felt like, were they saying he was in on it, or was he just, or did they just send it to him because they knew that he would? Because I felt like he was stopping it, but he was doing what anyone would do in that situation. So
I couldn't see it. He knew.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he knew it. They didn't have to outright say it. And that's why it was kind of like, it took me that long to realize it. I didn't realize it until he was at the altar and he got that alert and he just kind of gave Constantine that deadpan look. And I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know. I felt like he played it more ambiguous. Like,
well, that's why. Yeah, it wasn't, outright. It wasn't outright easy to tell, but yeah, and it makes sense because he's a lawyer in the family. Maggie would have needed his help, and Justin, unlike Tweedle, dumber son of his, would have been able to keep his mouth shut.
I don't know. I still think Alex would have been fine. I don't think he would have spoiled any plot. Like, what would he have done? Like, if they were setting him up to, like, what was he going to do? Like, he's not an idiot. Like,
Alex. No,
he's not.
Alex right now.
I refute that statement, Justin.
He's being very cocky and like into himself, and like, he didn't need to be in on the plan.
No.
At all. Yeah, Maggie was right to keeping it to just, because she didn't even tell Julie.
No.
No. Well,
She
I
was
mean,
she was
kind
still
of.
she was
I mean,
still
Julie
looking
kind of
like
figured it out.
yes, but she still didn't go into details.
No.
Because
But
she loves her friend, she trusts her friend, but she also knows Julie, and she knows that Julie has no chill.
Julie would have got to the wedding and been like, "Did we get him yet?"
I,
And he hadn't got him.
Yeah,
He
I
hadn't
don't know.
got yet.
I thought she could have done the same thing she did with Julie was, trust me, I have a plan or something, or whatever the terminology she used. Like, I don't know. She could have done that just as well as Alex. It would have saved them a lot of turmoil being antagonistic with one another over nothing that, yeah, was nothing.
no, but
And again, Alex was 100% right. And he knew before even Maggie. Let's not forget, Maggie knows because they told her about this.
yeah,
Otherwise, she would be clueless. She would be in the dark.
Which
yeah,
I hate that.
but
I hate that
okay,
they put her like that.
but Alex knowing that Constantine was a con artist doesn't equate to Alex can handle being involved in a scheme. That is not the same thing. I could make that argument for Xander, but not Alex. Sorry. He has shown he is just so irresponsible in so many ways.
And then falling down the stairs.
We all remember when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Can I tell? Speaking of this, when the plan unfolded,
I did think of you. Julie. I did think of you during this segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was seemingly caught, I thought he was reaching for a gun.
Oh no, I don't.
This man goes, pawn.
Yes.
I'm like, and then they're cutting to everybody else, and everybody else is like, and I was like, this card is just like crazy.
And
then John did the lean back and he did the the mantra. I'm talking to my mantra. And I mean, at what point? I tell you this: if I were there, I would have been like, sitting there like, oh, ain't this? And then when the plan started unfolding, it's like, oh. And then as soon as he went pawn, I would have said, oh.
Yeah.
And then when John went back, I would have been like.
I feel like they needed better. The only one who was giving good reactions was Bonnie, Judy Evans. I felt like she was giving somewhat appropriate, but I felt like everyone's reactions need to be turned up a notch.
Yeah, I do think that Alex had the best reaction to finding out that Maggie was conning Constantine, because the big huge smile that lit up his face.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would have I feel like all that antagonistic thoughts and everything. I felt like not all of it melted away, but like a lot of it was dissipated then. But yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out in the universe because I know that a lot of people. Oh, thank you, Betty, for your note. Apparently, my voice is too low and people can't hear me. So can y'all hear me now?
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, it's fine.
I know that people from the show watch our show.
Mm-hmm.
And if for some reason there is like a couple of pawn cards.
Yeah, right.
I would like one.
Yes.
To add to our knickknacks for the show. And I would love for John, who plays Constantine, to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my hope.
Is it gonna be put right next to the elephant?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I called it.
And I literally want him to write pawn !
Yeah.
And then sign his name.
Just
I would love that.
The unintentional comedy in the storyline, and then when John the head tipped back, and I was like, "Oh, John's been practicing for this moment. He's been gearing up for this. He's like sitting at home with Marlena, like he put like some extra on it for that one, for that
And
reveal."
he literally stood up and was just like,
I was like, John, do you really need to sell it now? Like,
"Oh,
you gotta
he
give
sold
up.
it. Oh, he
He's
sold
like,
it." Meanwhile, in the audience, oh, I tell you what else I
what the
cracked
hell's
up
going
at
on? Yeah.
when everything was coming to light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned the kidnapping of Xander's baby.
Oh, Theresa.
And Theresa
What?
was like, "Well, what does that matter? Like, he's already confessed." But I also laughed because it's almost like she hushed herself because she said that, and then she went,
Yeah.
Shut up,
So-
girl. He's gonna
so
take you
shout
down
out
with
to
you.
shout out to Emily O'Brien, who
Yes.
was like, "You said enough,
Yeah,
girl.
right. Don't say too much, it might point.
Don't
Yeah.
say too much." I wouldn't have said nothing at all. I would have been like,
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
I could kind of see the like. Don't focus on that part. Like, don't worry your pretty little heads about the kidnapping. Like focus on the task at hand. I get it.
"Girl,
Oh God,
mm."
that was hilarious.
But the wedding was I mean, what do weddings ever actually happen in Salem? Some of them
know.
do, but we all know that one wasn't. And so there's a lot that happened. But also shout out to the director who did that episode, because to see the shot of Maggie, I think it was like Justin, Xander,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Brady.
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
Flanker.
okay, camera shot.
Mhm.
It's almost like Kiriakis' attack.
We
Yeah.
got this.
And
It's
now that you
Kiriakis
mentioned that,
time.
Tony, it was a lot of wide shots too. Because remember, sometimes when we get shots like these at a wedding, you could tell that they film it different days and then they take people out. So like they'll shoot the right side of the room, and then it's like, oh, Theresa, Bonnie, and Alex are gone, or you don't see them, and it was like, okay, it's obvious. You're taking people out to save on money, whatever. But I like that they did wide shots, so you knew that all of those people were there during the whole wedding. It wasn't,
I mean, admittedly, it wasn't a big wedding.
Huh?
Admittedly, it wasn't a big wedding.
Yeah, but at least we saw everyone there. It wasn't, we'll see the left side on Monday, then Tuesday we see the right side. Like, no, you knew that everyone was filming was there all the time, which was nice.
Why is everyone talking about this sound? Everyone, let's do a mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can everyone hear me? Once they get to this part, we'll see in the comments. Justin, you say something.
Hey everyone, 1 2 3 4 5.
I
Perfect.
can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. This is the second time someone's like, sound is uneven. Tony, I can't hear. Justin's okay, but Araceli loud and clear. And I'm like,
And I play back. I don't ever think I sound loud and clear. I have a bad tendency to mumble.
okay, everyone is saying sound is great, sound is great, sound is great. I can hear you fine, Tony. Do a poll, Tony. I love doing a poll. Well, okay, so if you can't hear us, check your volume.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's you have something checked or clicked. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Tony. Yes, Justin. Yes, Araceli. Araceli is the loudest. Yes, that's because she has on headphones that have her mic really like next to her thing. I wear hearing aids and hear you fine. Oh, I know you wear hearing aids. Okay, perfect. So the sound issue is solved. And if it's uneven or unclear, please feel free to email us and donate us some microphones. We are on a no budget for this show.
Was that it?
By Araceli, you the loudest on me. That's funny. What else?
I mean, I think we covered this with this bit at the storyline. It's basically just we're setting up for the final minute, set us up for next week. So we'll get that revelation. We'll see what Constantine does. If Constantine gets the chance to rat out Theresa,
Yeah, because you know what? They have stuff going on for so long that I'm like, oh yeah, they were a part of that, huh?
Yeah, you forget.
Yeah. It's been 9 months.
Yeah.
This
Or
long
is
time.
this when the paternity secret comes out, or is that going to be another revelation down the line?
Yeah.
Does it all come out in this wedding, or
Mhm.
or did they save some stuff for later too?
I feel like we're waiting for three. One, um, the real son of Victor Kiriakis.
Mhm.
Two, the paternity of Jude, and three, um, oh, what's the third one? Teresa's
Teresa.
involvement
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
with Constantine.
It's gonna be a jam-packed summer.
I hope all three are not dragged out. I mean, hopefully they come one after the other, maybe.
I mean, I doubt it because actually, when you think about it, these were all set in motion last year.
Yeah.
Right. If I get one more note on today's show. Now my mom has texted me. She's like, "You look like you're not interested, but I think I understand." I'm like, "What do I look like today?"
It's just been a long week. It's
Oh
been a
my
very
god.
long week for Dishin Days in general.
And
Yeah,
life
I
is
did not
lifing.
get. Yeah, I did not get out of bed until 1 o'clock today.
Good on you, because I have been up since the crack of dawn.
It was necessary.
Yeah, that's probably it for
Yeah, that's it for
Mhm.
for that storyline, right?
That next week's
yeah.
gonna be a lot.
Although before we go, I will say because we can mention it. We'll mention this as we go into the next storyline.
Yeah.
Because Kayla was looked at Steve and was like, "Listen, you ain't about to go on no mission. You ain't about to go nowhere. Nope. You stay right here." And I don't blame her.
Yeah. It was actually, I mean, in hindsight, it was important for Steve to stay in town because he was actually necessary for this storyline.
Yeah.
For to be he was necessary to be at that wedding. Now he didn't know at the time that the wedding was going to happen the next day, but yeah, in hindsight, it turned out to be a good idea.
Yeah.
Y'all tell Allison about Michael. Let's move on to the next storyline, shall we? Our next storyline is Abigail is alive. Now,
I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't know. I think this might be a misdirect, actually.
if
people know what I'm referring to, I think this is
we don't.
Okay. No, some people do.
I don't.
As we keep talking, you probably will know what I'm referring to.
I'm just like, is this like, we saw the scene, we like,
Well, I mean, her death was no more final than any other death on the show, right? I mean, how many people have come back from the dead that were clearly murdered or killed?
Yes. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. My bigger kind of questioning is in the whole, was Clyde there intentionally to kill Abigail part of this conversation? Because as we've said, that kind of came out of nowhere, and I feel like we didn't get a clear answer.
When
between that conversation between Chad and Clyde, because it wasn't made clear. Because Chad was kind of doing most of the talking, and I feel like Chad was trying to just kind of lead the conversation without letting Clyde talk. And then whatever Clyde said, we could presume it's a lie because he lies like he breathes. So I'm not sure we would ever get a clear answer regardless.
I
just don't. I just don't understand why, if Abigail has been alive this whole time, why hold that card for this long?
yeah. I mean,
Because he's had no dealings with Chad since then.
I mean, I think maybe that's something we'll find out in the coming weeks.
I mean, maybe at some point it'll make sense.
Yeah, but I also think part of it too is I feel like they were trying to recreate the Ben thing, the Ben reveal for Will. It was literally the setting was different, but the circumstances were pretty much the same. I was like, okay, this I've seen this scene before, and then it was like, oh, this is the Will scene when Ben revealed Will's alive and he was being dragged out of the church by.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like father, like son. I guess they're trying to. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, we're not saying it's not possible. Clearly, in this town, it's possible, and clearly there's a way to do it. But it at this moment, it's just not clear of the how we would make that happen and why now.
Yeah.
Part of me also thinks like maybe he's trying to word this so I don't say something I'm not supposed to say. I don't know if Abigail is alive, but I also don't think maybe Clyde is lying, if that makes sense.
That she is alive?
I don't think Clyde may be lying, but I also don't think that means that Abigail is alive, if that kind of makes sense. I think Clyde may think she's alive, is what I'm saying.
But
and if you think what I'm Araceli, I think you know what I'm referring to.
You tell me later. You tell me later.
No, because it's not a spoiler, but it could possibly be a spoiler from what we know.
What do you mean what we know?
I'm not here, Justin. So
we know that certain people are coming onto the show. We don't know who those people are playing.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
but no, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't know. That would have. I don't know. That would. I don't. I hope not.
I think there's something mysterious going on with a person who is coming onto the show that's been publicized.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people have been speculating and people have been very suspicious about this person coming onto the show and who they might be. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think what I'm saying is I think it's a misdirect.
I hope so.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make.
And even if it is a misdirect, I mean, I'm gonna be Susan here. That'd be mean.
That's why I think she's not alive. I don't think Abigail is alive, is what I'm saying. But I don't
mean
know
to us.
that. Yeah.
Mean
That's
to
what
us.
I'm saying. I think this is a plot to like stir up the idea that she's alive, but that she's not actually alive, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tony's like, what are you talking about?
But if she is alive, you're saying that the person that they announced is the recast of her? Is that what you're saying?
That's what people have been speculating.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's a misdirect, but I'm not saying Clyde's lying, if that makes sense.
Because I feel like
the explanation they gave for who this person is playing is incredibly vague. And I think once people saw who this person was, people speculated that this person could be Abigail.
Yes. Okay, yeah. I definitely, it's like a moment, but I do feel like yes, I feel like it's a misdirect because I don't think that, and especially all of us knowing the show, that they would have announced her as coming onto the show and then be this big reveal that she's actually.
That's what I'm saying.
Abigail.
I think what I'm saying is I think we're gonna see on the show that's going to be the misdirect. That's going to be a whole plot of is this person Abigail, and that's going to be the plot.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. But I think eventually it's not going to be.
But if they do it that way, because it only makes sense when the person who played them one of the times before,
thank you,
is because it's kind of like, okay, with Will, right? When Will was alive, but he thought he was someone else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If he was played by actor number 5 from down the street, it wouldn't have landed as strong.
Yeah, but also, I mean, how many times have we done the plastic surgery? This person looks different than they looked before. This person, I mean, it could also be a Gina thing. Remember the Princess Gina thing? It was.
Oh my God, that dragged out way too long.
We did 3
No.
years of is this
No.
woman Hope in,
But it was
this
still
thought.
played by Christian Alfonso, who is
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
my God, I have a headache. I have a.
I see where you're I see where you're going with that, but I do think that I can't remember the name.
Well, I think if they were gonna, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a misdirect because that plays into it, though. The fact that you're not getting Kate Mansi or what's her name? God,
Marcy Miller.
or Marcy Miller
yeah.
to play, Susan, not Susan, but to play Sally from Oklahoma, who they run into. You know what I mean? I feel like it leads into the plot if this person doesn't actually look like Abigail, but maybe they think she is Abigail.
But again, it can only work when it's the same
I agree.
person who's played it before. Case in point, when Gabby saw Jake and thought it was Stefan, but it was Jake.
But I think it plays out if Clyde is sending them on this wild goose chase to say this woman is your wife, or this person is that's what I'm saying. I think it works out in that sense, because then you could always turn around and be like, oh well, she's not this person and whatever.
Well, then they could have just got actress number 4 from up the street to play and be like.
Well, I think it's going to be a bigger plot point, and so you want someone who's, I mean, the person who we're talking about is a good actress.
Yes,
It still would piss a lot of people off, including me.
I'm still gonna say I'm gonna go on record and saying that I feel like that's gonna be a new character. It won't be.
I do too. Well,
yeah,
but it won't have any.
You're saying it won't have anything to do
correlation with
Abigail?
This. No.
Okay. I think she's going to be a new character too, but I think it's going to start off surrounding this idea that she could possibly be Abigail, and then it's going to be proven that it's not her, but she will still be a new character.
When I tell if they go that way, the same faces that people made at the wedding are the same faces that we're going to be making, because we're going to be like,
listen, if we could buy Josh Charles as Roman, we could buy certain this actress as a possible Abigail. If we can believe all the very different people who played a character over the years. I think we can believe this person.
That's just still different.
Then how dare you make me do self math?
It does not.
How dare you make me do self math today?
Come on,
it can only work if
it's not the most ridiculous plot we
or
believed.
Kate Mansi. That way, that's the only way. Or they would have had to get someone who looked very, very similar.
Can we just stick with what we know right now, which is that we don't know a lot, and I'm okay with that because I'm tired.
When are you not tired? We're having a whole discussion about what could possibly be, and here you come talking about I'm tired. Well, guess what, Araceli? We all tired.
I know we
still
tired,
having a conversation about like what could be, what could happen moving forward.
Justin is not serving the group right now because we all tired. Why are you making us all do soap math today?
No, he brought up a good point in a very roundabout way till it was like, okay, let's stop tap dancing around it. Like, look, we love the show. We will always protect the show, but at some point, we're still fans of the show, and if there's a thought or a speculation, we could talk about it.
Yeah,
and we did into the ground.
So you guys think he's completely lying and setting Chad up?
I lean very heavily towards that.
I would like to know more
Yeah.
because it was just said like she's alive and then they cut to,
Yeah.
right? So when next week when it pops back in and there's, we can start. Okay, so
Mhm.
Clyde said that Abigail is alive. He then said 2 + 2 = 4, 5 + 5 = 10. Clyde saying X means that Abigail is Y, and Y equals dead, still, or
Mhm.
alive.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, even though I'm putting that out there as speculation, he could still be. That's what I'm saying. He could also be lying about it, and
Yeah,
he's setting them up to sort of try and save his own ass. But in essence, this person is not Abigail.
yeah. Well, we all just got to keep watching to see.
Yeah.
I really wish 10 more people would sign into YouTube so that way we would have 200 people watching us live. Because right now we have 189.
Ooh.
Nice.
Pretty good.
254 overall. Which is nice.
Thank you. Okay.
Y'all make sure y'all are liking and following and subscribing, please. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Now the other part of this conversation.
Yes.
Okay. So before Chad even showed up to the party,
Mhm.
Ava had a gun on Clyde. Now, do we think that this is the end of the Ava Harris relationship?
Why do you think it's the end?
Because he looked pretty pissed to the point where he didn't want to have a conversation with her.
Pissed that she pretended like she was Goldman and was going to shoot him?
Yeah.
Which, again, by the way, Marnie and Bob, great casting on that. Because I was like, oh, I get it. They do look like they could be the same. It worked.
Part of me thinks that, but part of me may think that it's the reveal that she broke out Clyde, maybe like the final straw for Harris. I don't know if this would be a final straw, even though they tried to make it seem like he was pissed at her, which I get it, but she also sort of did the right thing according to him at the end. So I feel like that's not enough for him to say, I'm dumping you, and leave town or something. But I feel like when he finds out she broke him out of jail, I feel like that might be
Yeah, because he's forgiven a
straw.
lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not working. I can kind of see. I think they got caught up in the moment. We obviously know that Harris is on his way out. I'm just trying to figure out how does this work?
Yeah. We know it's soon too. I mean, it's coming up. So,
and the thing is, it doesn't work. Nothing about their relationship ever made sense.
I don't mind them actually.
I mean, I don't mind them, but I think it's more because of the Steve and Tamara of it all, because Steve and Tamara have a history. So whatever chemistry they have, I feel like is just played on their years of friendship. But the whole just you work with the characters that you have, and I feel like the core of Harris, of who he is, doesn't necessarily work with the core of who Ava is. And I've always felt that way.
Well, no, because she's still lying and doing a lot of stuff, and
Exactly.
he's still very like straight by the book, but will bend if necessary.
Bend, well, and that's the question that you have to ask is how much can you bend? How much are you willing to bend your morals, or how much are you willing to compromise? And I think that they did a very smart thing in the editing this week on those days when Ava and Harris were on, and they contrasted it with Steve and Kayla, because Steve was honest with Kayla. They did the opposite. And I actually didn't expect him to outright tell Kayla that he knew about Ava's plan and that he was kind of going along with it. Because Kayla outright questioned him, and then like, what exactly is the result that you're hoping for in this situation? And whatever it is, I don't want you anywhere near it. And she brought up their history. I thought out of nowhere, but I'm actually glad that she did that, because she brought up past times where in their decades together, she's bent and she's
Yeah.
understood the things that he had to do to keep their family safe. And she said, I'm putting my foot down on this one. And you could see the clear contrast in those relationships of, where Kayla outright said, I don't want you to go. And if you care about me, you won't do this.
Yeah, I still think it'll be an ongoing issue for them, just because they keep bringing this up with Kayla. I feel like the past couple of months, and especially where Ava's involved.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I don't know if like something's brewing there or what, but I felt like this past week we saw Steve sort of align with Ava in a much different way than he ever has in the past, where he's like, okay, you want to kill him? You know what? I'm fine with that. And it's a little ambiguous of, I may even help you kill him kind of a thing. So I don't know. I don't know if this is the last we've seen of that conflict. I did like Kayla bring up the past and stuff and saying, when you do this, you end up dying or disappearing for years and kind of a thing. So I like that part of it, but I don't know. I feel like there's something brewing there.
Yeah. Lucas was just comedy gold this week.
Love, like we always talk about, like, give him more to do. Love Lucas. This is where he's used best in this capacity. He had not romantic chemistry, but he had really nice chemistry with Ava too.
Yes,
just like hanging out and kind of shooting the shit and talking about their history. And
he had actually great scenes with everybody. He on the phone with Kate, he had good friendship scenes with Ava. Like I would love to see that friendship continue. He had good scenes with Chad, and he's had good scenes with Chad in the past where they're connected through Abigail, and he talks him down from the ledge. It's use him, please. This is how you use Lucas.
Yeah.
I like just like, it's like Bart, how Bart used to break up like intense scenes or whatever. Just, someone is a little lighthearted during all this. I'm at the monastery. I just got back from a movie. Go cut it, Lucas. I know that you're with. And first of all, how you a grown man still lying to your mama?
I mean, listen. Lucas is 50 at this point, and they're still playing this son and mother-son dynamic that 30 years ago.
Tony Moore,
but
Tony Moore, did you just say that because your mama was in the chat?
No. Listen, if you talk to any of my friends, I still say, like, oh, how is it that grown people don't know how to have a conversation or communicate? Grown people. Like, at some point, you just go, I'm over here doing this. Well, with respect.
Yeah. With respect.
But good communication is at a certain age. It's like, why? Like, when you're in your teens, maybe early 20s, you tell your mama, I'll be right back. Where you going? I'm just going to the store real quick. And then you going for 5 hours, right? And it's that, did the store move? Kind of a moment, right? But when you grown, you be like, I'll be right back. Where you going? I'm going out. I'll be back. I'm going to meet up with a friend of mine. I'm going to a movie. I'm going to go grab something to eat because I don't want to eat here. I'm going on a date. Whatever it is that you actually doing, you don't have to say I'm going to the store.
I look at this as Lucas having respect for Kate's blood pressure.
Well, also that he didn't want her to worry.
Yes.
I'm thinking he didn't want her to jump her ass in a plane and go there because she would let Lucas say, I'm in trouble or I need you. I'm surprised she wasn't on that plane with Chad.
Oh no, because she didn't know he was there.
That's what I'm saying. I know she would have, she would have showed up at the door.
That's why Chad wouldn't have told her. Chad wouldn't have told her either.
I've been waiting for you.
He didn't tell Julie. We learned in the scene with Julie and Maggie that he basically texted Julie from the plane.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm out.
No, Kate would have met him on the runway.
Yes.
No, Kate would have spun around in the, like, Chad would have got on the airplane and Kate would have pulled a this.
Yeah, right.
Going somewhere?
Yes.
Montana, perhaps?
The pilot has the flight plan. Sit down. I'm going with you.
She is the pilot.
I mean, yeah, at this point she should just get her pilot's license.
God.
Don't you play with Kate about her children now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, those were the main storylines. Before we move on to our tidbits, just a reminder, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Also, we are on all your favorite podcast stations, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And also make sure you show some love to our former co-host, James Lott Jr. over at JLJ Media. And keep your comments coming. We love to hear what you're thinking, what your thoughts are. Yeah, share among us. Yeah. And now moving on to our tidbits. We go over to Mommy Dearest. Sarah is determined to get Xander's. Let me tell you something what you don't do.
Yeah.
You have to ask questions about family dynamics before jumping in and trying to include, because you don't know what the history is. You don't know the reason why or nothing like that. That's why you have communication. You have to talk to find out, because the way that
Bonnie, Sarah.
Oh, you know what? I almost tied in two things. I was watching a TikTok about somebody else's family and correlated it to Xander's, and I was like, two different people. But And then now you got Bonnie involved, talking about she the first cousin of them and around about
I'm like, girl, this is a nice idea, but like, don't you want to do some research on this woman to see if she's still a violent drunk? Is she still a schemer? Is she still any of these things that Xander hates? Like, before you allow her near your daughter? Like, it's all well and good to be like, oh, I want, my daughter to know her other grandmother, but this is a precarious situation. This isn't like, this isn't a mother like Kate or something. This is a dangerous person, presumably.
And this is the part where Sarah's naivete comes out, because she had Mickey and Maggie Horton as parents.
Mm-hmm.
She has zero concept for bad parents. She sees her, her recovering alcoholic mother and thinks that all recovering alcoholic mothers are like this, or maybe it was just the alcohol. And Xander's like, no. You don't know what a mean drunk is.
Sarah does.
Sarah knows. No, but look, even at her worst. Even at her absolute worst, Maggie cannot hold a candle to some mean drunks.
Oh my gosh, y'all, I just had a delirious moment. So Andrea O'Brien said true. And my eyes somehow connected that to say True O'Brien. And I was like, what's True O'Brien doing in here?
I'm not the only one who's tired, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Also, the chat room, remind me, is Neil, did we establish, I know they brought him up maybe a year or so ago. Is he dead? Sarah's father? I was like, that also was another thing where I was like, girl, you got your own like family issues with your actual biological father. Like, maybe we don't. You should kind of know better here. Like, I don't forget, because I feel like they mentioned Neil a year ago, but I can't remember if they mentioned if he was dead or if he was just away.
Yeah, no, guys, I get it. Like Sarah, yes, Sarah's parentage is one thing, but she was raised by Mickey and Maggie.
Yeah.
She was raised in a very loving and protective household. It's very different. Mickey, yes, not to say that Mickey and Maggie were perfect, obviously not. They had their issues, but the way that Xander describes his childhood was chaotic and traumatic, and he established pretty early on, actually a couple years back when he and Sarah were getting together, that he was primarily raised by a nanny person.
Mm-hmm.
That who he considered to be like a mother figure to him.
Well, in conclusion, stay out of family dynamics.
I know. Yeah.
And now we move on to another dynamic. Even if it was una noche, one night stands. Okay.
What do we think of this?
So now it's kind of like, oh, Brady, you do have feelings for Theresa.
I mean, I called that, but of course she's got screwed up
for a while.
Also, shout out to Kristen's candy store that is now closed.
Okay, we obviously know that Ron was not a fan of that, because that the one part of the storyline that we liked, or some of us liked, I was like, are we ending this really?
I actually, I mean, a lot of people liked
That's what I'm saying.
Kristen and
I liked
Alex
it,
together.
yeah.
But she said, honey bunches, the hours have changed. The candy store is now closed. Walk on by.
I was like, okay, I guess we're ending this, but I don't know. I would have preferred that to go on, quite honestly.
Yeah. I rather enjoyed it.
Yeah. And it was nice just to see Kristen as the preferred. I don't know. It felt like they were pretty tightly establishing that Alex was falling for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
I'm just it's like, now where's everyone going to end up? And Brady did feel like a piece of meat though, when she was like, oh no, you can come on in.
Yeah, I know, right?
Girl, you had the man of your dreams back in your bed. How did you screw this up so royally? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, she's putting money over because she definitely prefer, all things being equal, she would prefer Brady over Alex.
1,000%.
Yeah. But Alex is the rich one. Or so she manufactured.
I don't even think she cares about the money so much anymore. I really don't. I think she's just gone so far down this rabbit hole, so far into this lie, that there is no way out of it for her. Because either she marries Alex and becomes the Kyriakis heiress, as she says, or the truth comes out and she loses them both. There is no way for her to have her cake and eat it too in this scenario. She's stuck.
Well, I mean, technically I don't know. She could still just not date Alex, like whether or not Alex's paternity comes out or not. She could also, like, she's in control of that part. You know what I mean?
I think she would be, if not for the Constantine of it all. And that's what we saw on Friday, is that it's like, okay, if it was just her lie, that'd be one thing. But there's a guy standing right there who has now just been outed. He has nothing left to lose in exposing her. And she knows that.
I also am trying to figure out timeline wise, when did they have time to have somebody come in and be a forger and rewrite the okay. Well, listen, just a fan with open arms. Just a fan with open arms. But if I were her, I would just make but it also made it seem like this week that she was choosing Alex just for that and not following her heart, which seems like it's Brady.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, must be very just hard decision to make between two attractive,
Yeah.
muscular menses.
Mm,
Who do I go to?
mm,
I don't know.
yeah.
Both rich. One's the father of your child. I mean, yeah.
Must be nice, 'cause I'll never know the feeling. Must be nice. Never
Oh,
know the
Brady and his
feeling.
love life.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. All right. With that, that has been your week of days, and it's now time for our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh snap!
All right.
Oh snap!
Oh, we played it twice. So listen, y'all know I love a moment where people kind of get put in their place or when they're reminded. So my 3 snaps goes to not one, but two people. One person who, well, just take a look.
After everything we've been through, the pregnancy, the loss, the grief, Holly's illness, and now the miracle, our child, alive and well.
Eric's child.
Our child!
Because my children no longer have a mother, and one day they're going to grow up and they're going to want to know why. And I owe it to them.
You know what I owe you? Not a damn thing.
Hey, Chad. Shut up, Harris. Chad. You said that Abigail was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So Melinda Trask and Chad Demera for checking somebody. You get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award because when Melinda corrected EJ and said Eric's baby and had no qualms about saying it, and then Chad being like, "Oh, Harris, you're not about to come up in this. Shut up." And it was so slyly. It was just like, "Shut up, Harris." It wasn't even big. It was just like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from you right now. So Billy Flynn, Tina Hong, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh.
Oh snap!
All right. We will not have the caption that for quite some time, but what we do have is
Those were the days.
All right, everyone, taking you back to June 8th, 1990, where we had the masquerade ball on the Cruise of Deception, which this is the Cruise of Deception. If you don't know, will go down probably as one of Days' biggest umbrella storylines. This was back, no shade, when there was a lot more money and they were doing a lot more stunts. If you're watching the Cruise of Deception, it was sort of a play on like Poseidon's Adventure. It was a cruise ship. The residents of Salem were taking a cruise, and sort of mayhem happens. Whole bunch of different characters getting together, breaking apart, all of this taking place on a cruise ship. Also, fun little tidbit here. I think this is when they started for a brief period of time. Those of you may remember where they were sort of like chem testing Julie and Victor together. And this was sort of around that time where I think they were sort of positioning them two as a character. And I think this is before they brought Doug back, because I think this was when Doug and Julie were divorced. Yeah. So they were sort of putting Julie and Victor together as this like new sort of gray sort of power couple, but that didn't sort of come to fruition fully. But yeah, June 8th, 1990, Masquerade Ball, specifically during the Cruise of Deception storyline.
Oh, and
Those were the days.
and now it's time for It's a Gift.
And like Tony, this week's It's a Gift goes to two characters in a segment I am calling Oh No, You Just Didn't Face. So EJ and Julie, you both get this week's honorary honors in It's a Gift.
That was good. And that was It's a Gift. And now it's time for news and gossip.
Yes, we are capping off a big sort of awards week. We just want to do a reminder, if you happen to miss our Dishin Days Awards, which happened last Wednesday, please go to our YouTube channel, check it out. You will see who won your favorite coveted awards, who stopped in to accept the award personally. And yeah, just to see who won and check out the award show. It was very, we had a good one this year. Yeah, lots of special guests who popped in. So check it out to see who that was and who was crowned your favorite. And this weekend, we had the Daytime Emmy Awards on Friday. Our interviews are now up, except for one, I believe, but go stay tuned. Go check out all the awards. Me and Tony recapped it. Our interview with some of your favorite stars. We ended up getting a lot of them in 2s and 3s, so go check them out. And we do want to say a big congratulations to our sole winner, which was Dick Van Dyke, the legend himself, at 98 years old, becoming the oldest Emmy winner. And he won for his guest performance on Days as Timothy Robichaux. And also our Dishin Days Awards, which capped off, he won again Best Guest Star. So yeah, it was a pleasure. I think that was the one award that sort of unified the room that night. Everyone seemed to be just ecstatic about Dick Van Dyke winning, and he got up there with the assistance of his lovely wife Arlene, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just gave a really heartwarming, great speech. And he talked about Days, and he talked about Drake and the origin of the role and how it came to him. And yeah, he's been doing some press lately, and I think he's sort of itching to come back. So hopefully that's something we see him in the near future back as Timothy. But yeah,
he's such a delight and such a joy. And
Yeah.
when I saw him, I looked at Justin and said, Araceli is going to be mad at me. Because there he was. And we tried to interview him. We tried to interview him, but it was a lot happening. We even tried to get a photo with him, and some people,
yes, that was the story
in front of us when we were trying to do everything right and polite, and we did not get a chance to get a photo with him, but he's very nice. His wife is very nice, and she's stunning too. She looked great in her light blue dress that really went with her eye color. I mean, just stunning and very nice woman. So congratulations, DVD, Mr. Dick Van Dyke, for making history this year at the Daytime Emmys. Oh, I just joined in news and gossip.
No, it's okay. I mean, you all know how I feel about the man. He's just the man. He has breathed the same air as Walt Disney. He is a legend. He has been with legends. I mean, man can do no wrong in my book. So congratulations, and I hope he comes back. I hope he keeps working, because you got one life. You got to live it to the fullest, and it's what he's always done. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next up, in speaking of people who are actually come back to the show, guys, we learned this week that Casey Moss is back as JJ. He's currently filming scenes. Word yet on when exactly they will air. We believe it's sometime in the new year, and how long he will be on the canvas. But we got confirmation that he's back filming. So yay, JJ's home. And next up, Chriselle Staus, who we announced previously is going to be filming this an upcoming season this summer on the Australian soap Neighbours. She has also joined the Peacock reality show Traitors. Again, no word on yet when the upcoming season will premiere, but the first 2 seasons are now available on Peacock.
Can I tell you, I am obsessed with Traitors.
We know.
And if you guys follow me on Instagram at Lounging with Tony, you all know that I did commentary on Traitors. If you have not watched Traitors, watch season 2, because that's the one I watched, and then go back and watch my commentary, which is in my highlights. But I also got a chance to meet some of the cast members yesterday, and I'll post that stuff at Lounging with Tony on Instagram. So shout out to Chriselle for for joining the cast of Traitors. Oh, I wonder if you know what? This could be a poll. Do you guys are you guys familiar with Traitors?
I know the premise, but I haven't watched the show.
Okay, but at least if I can ask this question, do you guys think she'll be a faithful or a traitor?
Oh,
Oh gosh.
I think she'll probably be better as a faithful, figuring out who the
It's
traitors
hard
are.
to tell
I think
because
she'll be good.
it's hard. I mean, it's hard to tell because
I'm
there's
just,
Chriselle and then there's Chriselle the actress.
yeah.
Yes.
So it's hard to
I'm gonna say traitor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. What do
I
you
mean,
say,
I think-
Araceli?
oh I ugh, gosh. Okay, I'll say traitor for now.
Okay.
I'll say
I,
traitor
do,
for now.
I don't understand how these direct questions are so hard for you, but at least you answered this time.
Because I really take time to think about it.
Clearly, we appreciate that.
Hmm.
All right.
Next up, we have this. This actually just made me laugh, and I'll tell you the context. I was reading this. This is it was Billy Flynn's birthday about a week and a half ago, a couple of weeks ago. Happy belated birthday! And Susan Cifuentes sent him a little birthday wish. Reading this in the context was different because I think some people read it and thought it meant something else. And then I think when they saw her actual post in the context, they understood that she was being kind of funny and tongue-in-cheek here. But basically, I will read it. She says, advice to my darling acting partner, Billy Flynn, on your special day, don't forget to blow out those birthday cake candles before things go too far. Happy birthday, love. And it was the before things go too far that little, like, if you don't see the caption and you just read that, I think people's minds started to wonder and they thought it was a bit shady. And then I think when they saw this caption, they realized she was being kind of funny and tongue-in-cheek. And of course, you can see she used a picture of the beginning of the fire at the Horton house and as a reminder to blow out his candles before things go too far. So yeah, a cute little message. Yeah, that actually, yeah, like I said, a lot of people sort of read it, I think, and thought it was alluding to something else, and then seeing it in its intended intended state sort of made people laugh and chuckle. But yeah, cute
Can
little
no one
message
take
from
a
Susan.
joke?
No, not in no.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even a bit of like a big joke.
Well, I think people thought she was alluding to something Billy has talked about in the past.
Oh, for Pete's sake, guys.
Who's
Chill
Pete?
out.
I'm
Huh?
just kidding. Who's Pete?
Oh gosh. All right, next up. So Stacey Hajduk has a new horror short film that premieres at Screamfest LA in October. The
Oh
Screamfest
boy.
LA.
Guess what, you guys?
What?
It's that favorite time of the show where Tony has frozen.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll just
So BRB.
got it.
Yes,
We'll keep
they're back. Okay. Okay. So yes. Anyways, so if you happen to be in town in the month of October and want to check out Screamfest LA, I don't know. I don't have enough information yet on and sometimes they don't post early enough on if some festivals will actually let you purchase like online tickets to do screeners, but if by chance anyone who wants to look that up, but yes, go support Stacey. Our stars do take breaks in between their time off. Sometimes if they want to do short films, they want to do their own work, so please go support their work. I know that Carson actually took their week break recently to do his own short film. No information on that yet, but he had some fun stories on his Instagram. And I know that his daughter actually came to set one day and was like watching her dad do some funny stuff in the street. So yeah, please go support Stacey Hajduk's movie Brand New Cadillac in October.
Yes, and we're just going to keep rolling. Tony, I'm sure we'll pop right back in. We don't have a visual for this since he's controlling that, so we'll see. But just to let you know, Christopher Sean has a new animated movie coming out called Ultraman Rising. this is, we know, in addition to him being in front of the screen on Days and Magnum PI and all the other things he does, he's also a big voiceover actor and does a lot of animation. We know he's Batwing in the Batman universe. We know he's in the Star Wars universe. And now he is doing some original content with Netflix with this Ultraman series where he plays the title character in the alter ego. So go check that out. It'll be available again this Friday on Netflix. And if you're a fan of his and on his social media, he's been sort of documenting his journey going through this over the last couple of months. Not only promoting the movie in the premiere, but also this past week, Netflix did a big sort of like symposium or conference on their animation, and he was sort of front and center there with a lot of the other animators and talent. So
You're talking about Christopher Sean?
Yes.
Yes, he's big in that universe. Yeah.
Yep. Christopher Sean. Yep. Ultraman Rising this Friday on Netflix. Go check it out.
Yeah, he's booked and busy, man. Every time I log on to his story, he's always somewhere else. Yeah, he's always either at his own stuff or he's supporting his friends in the Star Wars franchise. He's busy. Next up, we have some news on Steve Burton, who will soon be exiting as Harris Michaels. He's back on General Hospital, and he did a 2-part interview on his good friend Maurice Bernard's YouTube show, State of Mind. As you know, Maurice does a weekly YouTube show where he interviews a lot of people in the soap world, a lot of people with mental health issues. They talk about anxiety and things like that. Part 1 of this interview premiered last week, kind of talking about the origins of their friendship and, during the early, very, very, very early days in the 90s when they were both going through different things. And Steve was basically just a kid at the time. And part 2 dropped this morning, which kind of focused more on Steve's kind of mental state in the last few years and what he's, the coaching that he's done and how he's kind of trained his mind to kind of get through all of the. It's not been a fun few years, and I'll just put it that way for Steve. So they kind of talked through morning routines and how important that is for your mental state and things like that. So both of those interviews are currently on Maurice Bernard's YouTube page. Go check that out. State of Mind.
Yes, and last but not least, we have our quick reminders here for some fan events that are going on or upcoming. First one is our Hot Men of Days Nashville. This is again September 28th through the 29th. All tickets and information, go to Eventbrite or Star Image Entertainment. We have our day players. They have been adding more dates. In addition to that, they've been adding, we talked about before, they just added 2 new private dinners, one in both New York and New Jersey. And again, if you want to continue your experience after you go to the concert, or if you can't make the concert because it might be sold out, there's also another opportunity to get some really interesting quality time in with the guys. Tickets and information, you can go to thedayplayersband.com. And we have Samantha and Friends. Been telling you about the Golden Age of Hollywood event, September 14th to 15th of this year. And they actually just added a new event. This one is upcoming. This one is the Winter Wonderland of the weekend of May 3rd and May 4th of next year, 2025. So all tickets and information for that, it's samanthafriends.org.
Nice. And now that I'm back and you can see me clear because I'm not frozen. That has been
news and gossip.
All right. And now it's time to find out what's coming up on this week's episodes of Peacock's Days of Our Lives. Check it out.
I want you, Brady. I'm just not that into you.
You will be punished.
Even if it's at your sister's expense?
The trap is set.
We have that snake right where we want him.
You let me fall in love with a child that doesn't even belong to me?
That's not the whole story.
You showed up at my house intending to kill my wife.
I think that was
Sorry, that was last week's, guys. Sorry.
That was last week's one.
Yeah.
What had happened was
we tired.
Ruh-roh. Hold on 2 seconds because I will get you this week's episodes.
So let me explain how this goes. Tony has been editing. Tony has been working. Tony and Justin were working that carpet on Friday. And we are tired.
We are, because I told myself, I said, I am going to be prepared for this show. And I had all my ducks in a row. And then that thing started playing, and I was like, I feel like we already had her, sis.
As you guys know, we usually don't do a show when we have like Emmy weekend, but we felt like this week we probably need to kind of come on and talk about it. And because
thank you to the faithful fans and commenters who have stuck with us today, because this is why we don't usually do a show right after the Emmys, right after our Dishin Days awards.
Because there is always a lot going on. Okay, for everyone's viewing pleasures, here is actually what's going to happen on this week's episode of Peacock's Days of Our Lives. Here's that wonderful bean footage that was supposed to show a second ago.
What do you know about Li Shin's murder?
It's time for answers.
She said that Abigail's still alive.
You think it's true she could be alive?
To what really happened.
Why not draft a new will right now?
And for the wrath of Khan.
I am the one who sabotaged this plane. You murdered my father.
To end for good.
You're dealing with me now. Talk. Victor isn't your father.
Okay.
It's happening.
Wow.
So we got the answer there. that secret's not staying for longer.
It looks like Constantine is about to go out with a bang.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Well, all right, y'all. Well, that has been your week. That has been our show, Dishin Days. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, just a reminder, please head over to our YouTube channel and check out our Emmy interviews. Go check them out. Make sure you leave a comment and make sure you share them all with the folks who enjoy Days. Before we head out, Justin, where can the folks find you on the social medias?
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Araceli, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And you can find all of us, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter X, and Threads. And you can find Little Old Chocolate Me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week for another full dish of what's to come on Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Until then, everyone, have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. And if you're out in the sun, wear sunscreen. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.